Are you ready for a new reality, a new beginning, and new communications? Let's talk about this Gemini New Moon. Pew! Hey everybody, it's Eric Taylor, BigEAstro, and I am back with another transit video. Today we're talking about the Gemini New Moon, coming in right after Saturn enters Aries, and in England it is on the 27th. In the US it's on late night the 26th at 11:01 p.m. or 8, and that's Eastern, or 8:01 p.m. Pacific. So it's at 6 degrees. We have a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. We have Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries. We have Venus in Aries trine Mars in Leo. And Jupiter in Gemini, which is getting ready to head into Cancer on June 9th, in a T-square to the Virgo South Node and Pisces North Node. So there's a lot on the agenda, as well as Mercury conjunct Saturn. We're going to talk about it. But before we get to the chart, this is really cementing in kind of the fact that, number one, it's Gemini season. Things are speeding up. That transition from spring to summer is what Gemini season brings for us, right? As we feel like a little bit of like the heat's coming and we still got some spring. And it's a mutable air sign, right? And the ruler of the moon is, Mercury, which is in Sedna. It's conjunct Sedna, right, in Gemini. So we'll bring up this chart, but just know that right now there's a lot of information, probably information overload. Things have been going super fast. It's getting ready to slow down with Jupiter in Cancer. And once Jupiter leaves Gemini, it'll kind of decrease some of the oversaturation of information, of gossip, of just chit chatter, and even your senses, right? The stress, the fear, the anxiety. But this new moon is bringing in a lot of new communication, new species, maybe life forms, and also new forms of travel as we get ready with Uranus entering Gemini on the 7/7 portal of July 7th for a few months. Remember, this is the year of sneak previews, so everything is like a little foot in the water so you know how to prepare for 2026 when we had those major shifts of Saturn and Neptune in Aries and Uranus and Gemini, okay? So this is the coming attractions at the movie theater. So it's like, get your popcorn, get your seat adjusted properly, you're ready and comfortable, and then it's like, whoomp. But will we see little previews of, as you're already seeing, right? ChatGPT, technology going to other levels, aviation, reimagining it, and all these strikes and plane crashes. Now they're going to be putting billions of dollars in to change, right? Traffic controllers and the technology that hasn't been worked on since the late 70s or 80s. So you're going to get ready, and this new moon is preparing you, right? With the North Node lunar mansion behind it and the Virgo degree to really imagine new ways to improve humanity, right? And not all technology is bad. Obviously we're not talking about, SpaceX or chips in your head or your brain or transhumanism, but we can have medical advances for improvements of surgery, different types of ways of growing food, new forms of food coming up out of the ocean. So let's look at the chart and let's get ready for this new moon. But I want you to be ready to set these new intentions, right? Mira, escribe, Gemini, in terms of writing, journaling, right? You could do 3-6-9 method, 3 times in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 9 at night. But what is it that you want to have new intentions on and manifest? What new systems, what new ways are you going to improve your spiritual discipline, your meditation, right? Jupiter and Gemini squaring the nodes and the T-square, it's really letting you know that you have and you need to use all the information and technology that's out there to focus on your health, physically, nutrition, and your health, mentally, spiritual work as well. There's no more playing small. There's no more hiding. There's no more excuses. The time is now so that you can move forward properly into the fifth dimension and new earth and be a part of laying the foundation for and pouring the cement for the age of Aquarius. All right? It's time. Are you ready? Let's talk about it and look at the chart. Gemini New Moon, BigEAstro. Pew! All right, so we're looking at Pacific 8:01 on the 26th, and it will be on the 27th across the pond. And happy Gemini season. My Gemini birth chart sale is going on until June 20th for all Gemini sun, moon, and rising signs. And Uranus, right, wrap it up in Taurus at 27 degrees. Obviously, we have this sextile as well to Saturn and Neptune, okay, at 0 and 1, where they're within range of the square, 5 degrees for the Neptune of the sextile. You know, you'd like it to be a closer orb, but we also have Mercury conjunct Sedna. So the ruler of this moon, Sedna is like the goddess grandmother energy, you know, coming up out of the ocean, where we're seeing new information about the ice wall and Antarctica, about pyramids off the coast of Japan, about new algae, new food, you know, oceans below the oceans. This is going to intensify at the end of May into June, and this energy for Gemini season. And as Uranus gets ready to go into Gemini, and then this Jupiter, right, 26 is getting ready to go June 9th, it's still, you know, just 2 degrees off. So this square of the nodes. So when you have the T-square, right, you look at Pisces and then the Virgo South node, which is still also trining the Virgo South node, trining Uranus, okay, which has been in play for a couple of these lunar energies, you know, and there's the Leo Mars. It's really letting us know that, you know, information is plentiful when it comes to gut health, meditation, fasting, right? Pluto, Aquarius, trining the sun and moon. This is parasite cleanses. This is intermittent fasting. This is eating with the circadian rhythms of the sun. This is doing the shadow work and having the right data and information to truly transform and heal your life for good, forever, for the better, okay? And so Gemini is curious. The Gemini moon needs to emotionally express itself. It needs communication. This Gemini season is going to be full of communication. Yeah, it may slow down after June 9th, but from this new moon until June 9th, it is going to be all hands on deck, rapid fire, information overload. And that will be also influence, you know, in our country, but countries across the world, about governments, about communications of wars, about peace. You know, right now, this T-square for this new moon, we don't know if we're going to have ceasefires. We don't know Palestine, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, what's going to be going on, okay? But what we do know is that, you know, we have got to focus on our spiritual discipline and our spiritual health and expand our minds, but consciousness. This is about consciousness. And we're seeing and hearing these rumblings of, oh, is AI consciousness? You know, and we have to understand we are the AI. They are duplicating and just regurgitating in a quicker, rapid pace, organized form, all the information that already exists that man has created over the internet. right? That's how it gets fed. So don't look to that. Look within you and understand that you are the computer, you are the alien, okay? And everything's about choice, right? We have to truly understand that there are parallel timelines, there are different dimensions, past, present, future, all happening at once. And each moment of the day, right? I chose to record this video now today during the day. I, made the choice to eat a salad, made the choice to have a smoothie, right? So you're making conscious, hopefully, choices and getting out of the subconscious programming. And this is where we have to look to this trine to Pluto and Aquarius, where we have to find our own freedom and liberation, where we can, right, the Pluto over here. And, this is in Arizona, so it's a Sag rising. Could be a little, different on the East Coast, Florida, New York, maybe it's a Cap rising. But, looking at this chart, this is the Pluto Aquarius, right, making a conscious effort to really understand that we also can choose to be free and liberated, right? We don't have to shop at Walmart. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. We have powers with our dollars, right? You're not supposed to be out there protesting in the street. What you need to do is protest with your intention, what you support, purchase, and buy, what you listen to and watch, media, television, music, reading, right? And really decide, oh, I'm going to shop local. Pluto in the third house, local community, right? The marketplace, seventh house, sun and moon. We want to shop and and really do the North Node Gemini from 2021 hand to hand, supporting local businesses, small businesses, black owned businesses, minority businesses, women businesses, but the hand to hand connection, right? Keeping dollars in circulation, not becoming a complete digital slave. So these are things that you have to consider with this new energy and new beginning, because there's pros and cons with technology, but also we're the ones that have to join in and use it or not. So how can you use it to your benefit, but how can you use it to enrich and better your own local community, whether it's over the internet or in person? All right. So I think that, we're going to see with this Mercury conjunct Sedna, there is going to be a lot about the oceans and discovering new lands and maps and borders, just like you have maps with voting, right? There's a lot of talk right now about whether it's, things sprayed in the sky, or England just passed something about blocking out the sun. That's very Saturn Aries, okay? The sun is exalted in Aries, and Saturn is in its fall there, and it's like restricting things, right? So that's something that we have to pay attention to, because Saturn and Neptune are, making that sextile and soon to be square with Jupiter and Mercury in Cancer, but making that sextile to Mercury and Sedna. Right? And so this is where we're going to see a lot of thing about, uh, you know, oil and gas rigging and different things, and who's drilling off land and in oceans. So just be mindful. You know, weather can still be kind of extreme this time of year. And so with the sun and moon in Gemini, you can have a lot of still dealing with obviously hurricanes and tornadoes. We're not into really hurricane season yet, but you can see things with earthquakes, tornadoes, cyclones, and California, Seattle, the West Coast, they've got to be mindful, just like the islands and stuff like that. So one thing I would say, and the message is that because we can choose, we have to become more conscious and aware so that we're making well-informed choices for our mind, body, and spirit, for our health, for our family, okay? For your intuition. The Lilith Hi, Lilith, right, is still rocking over here in Scorpio, right? Or is it danced in the Sag jet? No, got the galactic center. So yeah, Lilith is still over here in Scorpio. And we also have Haumea, right, and Juno. So there's the Lilith, and Juno getting ready to go back into Sagittarius, okay? So just know that you want to really stay in tune to your intuition. Lilith is very strong in Scorpio. And this is where we can still have a lot of salacious information, right, about the dark side of trafficking and sex and this and that, and just, the Diddy case and all this stuff. These are all distractions, and even the lack of truth about Epstein and releasing information that, people thought they may get from their government, but, maybe they're even being deceived, and maybe some Republicans are gonna not be so happy with Trump and Patel and this one and that one, and maybe they just are drinking the Kool-Aid with blind faith. I don't really want to get into any of the politics. I don't get into it, but your only freedom as a citizen, as a human being, and trying to become more sovereign and have your national status is to question everything. You cannot blindly trust anyone. And that will be your downfall if you do. Okay? So enjoy this Gemini new moon, and just know with the North Node behind it in the lunar mansion, it's about choosing your destiny every single minute and moment of the day. Going left can change everything from then you going right. Meditating, breath work, can change your actual brain. So know that science is catching up to spirituality, and there's a lot of proof that there is things that change in the pineal gland and then your frontal cortex and the frontal lobe and your brain when you increase and do daily, meditation, breath work, mindfulness, stillness. Okay? So be your true authentic self. Communicate and write from your heart chakra and speak the truth from your throat chakra, and check in to your intuition and stay in a place of joy and gratitude. Saturn, Neptune, Aries, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Gemini. It's time. People want to be free and social and just like communicate and exchange. And that's the energy. And that's what you're going to feel. So blaze a new trail. Think of new ways. Don't stay stuck in the mud. We're having a lot of masculine, assertive, outgoing energy, right? Mars, trine Venus, and Saturn, Neptune. That's 4 things in fire signs, and then 3 in air, right? The nodes are in the earth and water. Uranus still in Taurus. So, always stay connected and grounding in nature. But this is the season and this is the time for you to be a part of blazing a new trail for the collective, for your higher and future self, for your friends, family, neighbors, community, and for your soul. You got this. Gemini new moon. Choose a new path, and it's time for a new beginning and a new future. Eric Taylor, BigEAstro. Pew. That's it, Gemini new moon. And just know that, being aware, right? So sometimes, like, that's why I help my clients where I'm like, if you're right-handed, brush your teeth with your left hand. Get in there with positive affirmations. You need anything to kind of jar your brain to leave you in the present conscious now. Connect with these crystals, right? Connect with your breath. Breath is spirit. And, when you're doing this stuff, set new intentions. Choose to be the best version of yourself. Choose to be different. Choose love over fear and hate, right? please always understand the powers that be want us to battle against each other, genders, races, religions, and it's silliness. It goes against your soul lineage and your conscious. And just know that you are way more powerful than you could ever imagine. So I hope you enjoy the 27th or late night 26th in America, 11:01 or 8:01. And this Gemini new moon is 6 degrees, because it's time to live, exist, manifest, and create a new pathway, new choices, and a new future. Eric Taylor, BigEAstrology, Gemini New Moon. You can email me for the Gemini birth chart sale, eric@BigEAstrology.com. And I hope you have a wonderful Gemini New Moon. Peace. The moon is me, my body, health, and family. I'm howling at the moon, 'cause I don't wanna be alone.
The moon is connected to my emotion. The moon is connected to